A boom boom sh, a boom boom sh, a boom boom sh, a boom boom sh, boom 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 sh, boom 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 sh, boom boom sh, boom boom sh, boom boom sh, boom boom sh. It is about to be showtime. Just gotta make sure that I'm sharing the link to everyone. That way, people can watch the show on YouTube. That'd be fun. Now, we're going to watch the show and have a good time because we're live right now. We're going to be talking about Oppenheimer and Barbie because I'm a clown and I saw both. Yes, both very white, but there was some color in there, mostly in Barbie. Yes, not many blacks or Mexicans in Oppenheimer. Oh, I got popcorn stuck in my throat. I don't mean that as a joke. That's a real cough. Oh shit. We might as well get started. Ho. And I don't know if it rhymed, but I'm going all the time. And you know we gotta go. Here we go, the flow. I need to get the video going on. I don't know how to sing this song, but I'm going. Here we flowing. You know and knowing. Towing. Open. All right. Enough silly riffraff. Let's start the show as soon as humanly possible.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Jesus, that was loud. So if you're watching that on YouTube, that's my bad. Welcome back to Popcorn Poppin'. We're on another week. I know that is not Sunday, but I had to see Oppenheimer last night because, you have to see movies at different times, especially when your mom is a big Christopher Nolan fan. Not to say that I'm not, but it's her birthday this week. So if you see Jackie Wellman, tell her happy birthday and ask her what she thought about Oppenheimer. I am Ken, even though I'm obviously not Ken, but we're going to call myself Ken tonight because there is a movie that we'll be talking about a character named Ken. I think you can figure out which one. So before we talk about some things, welcome to Popcorn Poppin' Live, your weekly guide of what to watch, when to watch, where to watch it. You're too busy to watch anything that ain't worth your time, so let me be the time waster for you by watching it all and figure out what's poppin' and what ain't. Tonight's spotlight films are Oppenheimer, however you Heimer, and Barbie. We'll also be talking a little bit about Justified, but honestly, we won't be because I didn't watch the new episode because I'm rewatching the series and I only got 6 episodes left. So I want to save it until I'm done with that. So we'll skim past that. We'll also be talking about They Cloned Tyrone, which was on Netflix as well. And before we talk about all of those things, let's talk about some news that happened this week. RIP to Tony Bennett. The writers and Screen Actor Guilds' strikes are still going on. No end in sight. A lot of productions have been paused, such as Zendaya's film, which is actually finished, but they're actually not going to be releasing it until next year. So be prepared. A lot of your movies that you're awaiting aren't going to be coming out for a very long time until this strike is, resolved. So grab your popcorn and watch the movies that I bring up instead. Still good. All right. What else? Oh, so the other productions that have also been postponed are Andor Season 2. Oh, no. I don't care. Stranger Things, Cobra Kai, Yellow Jackets, Deadpool 3, and Gladiator 2. You're going to be hearing a slew of more. So do not be surprised when it happens. Next up, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Oh, we're going to be going over some release dates because a shit ton of release dates got revealed recently. I think there was a Comic-Con that didn't have much news because a lot of panels didn't show up because of the strikes. So be aware of that. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will be dropping on Disney Plus on August 6th. Winning Time Season 2 will premiere on August 6th on Max. I highly recommend it. Solar Opposites returns August 14th on Hulu. Also, Justin Roiland has been replaced. You can see it in the trailer. They make a joke of it. Dan Stevens is replacing his voice. British actor, really great actor. Great at drama, great at comedy. Dan Stevens, he was in The Visit and Downton Abbey and a bunch of other shit. One Piece. I didn't watch the anime, so I'm not that big of a fan. But I know this is a huge deal. The live action adaptation on Netflix, August 31st. Apparently, the creator of the manga is very heavily involved into making this. So I'm assuming it will be good. I watched the trailer; it looks okay, but I don't have a horse in this race. Is that a thing? We're gonna act like it's a thing today. The Continental. This is something I'm really excited about. It's gonna be dropping on Peacock September 22nd in 3 parts. The first part will be September 22nd, and each part will be releasing after that. It's 3 parts in total. This is a prequel special miniseries of the John Wick franchise. And if you haven't watched the John Wickses, I highly recommend to do that right now, especially 4. 4 is the best. You don't even really need to watch the first 3, especially because they never really carry over characters, but I digress. You can rent the first 3 John Wicks for $4, and you can rent number 4 for $6. Very worth owning 4 in the very least. The whole series is worth owning, honestly. The whole movie series, I mean. Invincible, big news, returns November 3rd on Amazon Prime. Very excited. And I was excited to read that they actually dropped a special episode that's on right now. I haven't watched it yet, so we won't be talking about it till next week, but it's a prequel special episode, 55 minutes long, starring Gillian Jacobs' character, Adam Eve. So check that out. I hear it's decent. I'm going to lower my expectations, but I'm still going to be pretty excited because I love Gillian. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom reshoots. So this is going to be released December 23rd. So I guess that's why I have it in this instead of the news earlier. But the reason I bring this up is because there's been a lot of news circulating because reshoots are really common, but 3 reshoots for 1 movie is not that common. And they've been doing it like crazy because this is Aquaman 2. Not as huge and prolific as any DC movie, let's be honest. Probably the most popular DC movie, I'm going to guess, for this year. I think it will surpass Blue Beetle, but this is going to be the last one in the DC universe. So it's kind of a big deal because this is going to be the transition period from Snyder's built universe and then losing it all of a sudden to James Gunn. So I think it's going to be very important. And I think it's necessary to reshoot it not as many times as possible, but just make it a clear, concise reason of how this transition is going to happen. I trust Gunn. Don't fuck this up, Mr. Gunn. And the reason you're seeing 2 Batmen is because apparently Michael Keaton replaced Ben Affleck's cameos or vice versa. A lot of confusing shit's happening in there. Too much multiverse shit, man. Too much multiverse shit. All right. Borderlands. I wasn't a big fan of the video game. I'm sure if I play it again, I'd love it. I'm the only one in the world that didn't love that video game. But the movie is finally has a release date, August 9th, 2024. All these release dates, by the way, are tentatively probably going to be moved because of these strikes. But anyways, the reason you're seeing Bobby Lee there is because Bobby Lee ain't in any of the fucking posters, and it's driving me nuts. That's how I heard about the movie, because Bobby Lee is awesome. But if you haven't played the games, I don't know. It's post-apocalyptic action shit. The movies, I don't really know much about it. The movie's directed by Eli Roth, and the cast includes Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Jamie Lee Curtis. Who else is in there? I'm kind of just looking there. And some other people. Now, I think it'll be... Kate Blanchett, too. It looks like an interesting movie. Now, don't forget, we're going to be talking about Barbie and Oppenheimer, but first, we're also going to be catching up on some of the things that are already out. So let me get my lo-fi going, and we're going to try to time this for 1 minute. I'm not allowed to go any longer. So, here we go. All right. Bada boom, bada bang. All right. Heads up, Breeders. The final season is going to be starting on FX at 10 p.m. on July 31st, July 30th on FX, July 31st on Hulu. It's a 5-year jump from season 3. I highly recommend the show. It's a great family show. Physical, the final season. I actually am not caught up with the show, but I love Rose Byrne. Final season 3, Apple TV Plus, premiering on August 22nd. Reservation Dogs, final season. Again, all these farewells to all these great shows. This is going to be returning on Hulu August 22nd. Full Circle, which is the mini-series on Max, has their final episodes premiering Thursday. Highly recommend it if you like Steven Soderbergh, and a dope cast that includes Timothy Olyphant, Zazie Beetz, and Kate Blanchett. Not Kate Blanchett, Claire Danes. Wrong C white woman. Hijack, Wednesdays on Apple TV Plus. This show's really fucking good. Idris Elba's in it. That should be enough. It's about a hijacking that takes place over the course of 6 hours from a plane ride from Dubai to London. And so the whole series kind of happens in real time. It's a very well-made show, but everything's far-fetched. But, you know, you can only do so many things to make a 6-hour hijacking movie really, really good. Secret Invasion, Wednesdays on Disney+. I know I praised this show in the beginning. I don't know about it now, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't watched the recent episode, but apparently this show costs like over $211 million. So that's kind of crazy. Where did the money go? I love you, Sam, but the show just isn't very strong. But I'm still watching it. What We Do in the Shadows, Wednesdays on FXX, Thursday on Hulu, Righteous Gemstones, Sundays at 10 p.m. on HBO and Max. It's Always Sunny on Philadelphia has actually ended. Great season. The first half of the 8 episodes long. These newer seasons are kind of shorter, but I'm okay with that because you don't want to make too much bullshit. Just make shit that's worth watching. The first 4 episodes were like, this is all right. This is kind of, you know, new Sunny, not like the old days. But the last 4 episodes were excellent. And this past week was Dennis taking a health day. So it's mostly focused on Glenn Howerton's character. I'm sorry for the ums, but it was dope. I really enjoyed it. Some honorable mentions of things that are on right now that I am not watching is just the After Party Season 2. I'd be watching it right now, but I'm watching Righteous Gemstones first. And that's taking a while because I'm watching it with Pat, and we both got busy schedules. All right, now we're on to the main event. So let's shut this fucking music off. Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan's back, and he's back with a bang. Or is it a whimper? I'll tell you which one. So I saw this last night in theaters with my ma. She loved it. We watched it in IMAX. IMAX is interesting because you're surrounded by people when people go to the movies. Anyone that saw either of these movies in the movie theater, how crazy was it that it was like the old days where people actually went to see movies again? It was very exciting. I loved that people are going to the movies again, but my mom did not, because if you go to IMAX, they have probably shitty seats. And by shitty seats, I mean, if I was sitting in the IMAX right now, you would see the person's head right here. You're on top of each other. So for that, was the movie worth the seating of IMAX? Was it worth it? I'm going to say no. This is not an action movie. I know it wasn't going to be an action movie. I know it's a biopic. I know it's about the atom bomb. But it's Christopher Nolan. So I expected it to be, you know, bells and whistles and not this much talking. Let me give some pros. Cinematography, A1. Amazing. Spectacular, of course. Sound, give them the Oscar right now. Amazing. Score, give them the Oscar. Amazing. Cillian Murphy, give him the Oscar. He was dope. Matt Damon, give him the Oscar. Honestly, he was really good in it. This was one of my favorite Matt Damon roles. He played the general, so he's kind of like an asshole, but, you know, maybe also a nice guy. He was very good in it. By the way, I'm surprised Cillian didn't smoke more like you see him smoking Peaky Blinders now on Netflix. Emmy Rossum, great role. At first, you're thinking it's just, you know, another wife character, another basic female character. But she ended up being not only 3-dimensional, but also like a driving force of him having his confidence, but also showing that he isn't alone in the fight that he was fighting. Controversy, a sex scene and nudity featuring Florence Pugh. I said this to someone at work today. Novocaine. I said, yeah, it's Florence Pugh. And he goes, oh, Florence Pugh, I'm surprised. Dude, she's nude in the streets. She frees the nipples everywhere. So I was happy that she freed the nipples in Oppenheimer. I'm not surprised. But it was surprising for Christopher Nolan to have any sex in any of his movies, let alone in Oppenheimer. I think I've been saying it right this whole time. I think that nowadays, don't get me wrong, I love titties and I love sex. But in these days in film, you should have a pretty good reason to have a sex scene. Otherwise, you might have a show like, what's The Weekend? The Idol. Oh, God, that show's bad. But the sex scene wasn't that long. I heard someone say that it was 15 minutes long. It wasn't that long. It wasn't gratuitous. And honestly, I think it was kind of a little important to the plot to show Oppenheimer's character. basically he hooks up with a girl in college, and without spoiling too much, she's got some issues and she's got a dark side. And his dark side kind of leads him into making these decisions to create the atom bomb. And during a sex scene, they actually read the famous quote, which of course I don't have written down because I don't know how to prepare very well. But I am death, hear me roar, or some shit. He reads that shit while they're having sex. So like it shows like this is kind of like a dark side to him, that he's not necessarily dark with a girl. He's actually too nice. There's a bit with him always bringing flowers. But I thought from my interpretation, it was kind of important for us to see some sort of past relationship that was relatable to why he may have a dark side. That was me. That's why I saw it. And also, she was pretty important because of what happens. And I can't give away too much. But Florence Pugh was also very great in it. I thought the movie had a lot of jargon. I've been using this word like crazy, and I'm using it even more tonight because I saw a Facebook status from a friend of mine, Kelly, from college. Shout out, Kelly. And he's a writer that reviews movies. And he's right. He's like, there's a lot of jargon in it. He wasn't saying it as a negative thing. I'm saying it as a negative thing. There's too much jargon in this. Now, it's kind of hard not to have jargon in a biopic, especially on a historical event like the atom bomb or the Manhattan Project or the Red Scare or communism or all of these elements that are in the movie. You have to have jargon. I've just never been that big of a fan of Christopher Nolan's jargon. He's got some great lines of dialogue. He creates great characters, and most of them are three-dimensional. I thought characters in this were three-dimensional. I thought there were some great lines in this film, and I did have attention set on the screen the entire time. It is 3 hours long. It doesn't necessarily feel like 3 hours long. I'm sure to a lot of people it does. There does get to a certain point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this to wrap up. But it wasn't like, oh, the 3 hours. It was just this story that I am watching, I want it to end. Great movie. Extremely well made. It just wasn't for me. I'm not a history guy, and I really should be. I'm sorry that I'm not, but I'm not. And this is very historical. This event is extremely important piece of information that happened on Earth, let alone part of our society. And it's crazy and wild how it happened. And him himself is a very interesting guy. The shit that he went through with communist parties, with his womanizing, with his brother, all of these things. Robert Downey Jr.'s character. Robert Downey Jr. was great in it, don't get me wrong. My mom didn't recognize him. After the movie, she goes, who was that old guy that was in black and white? I'm like, Robert Downey Jr.? She literally stopped walking and goes, oh, that was Robert Downey Jr.? Amazing. She also said, that was one of the best movies I've ever seen. And that's what everyone's saying. I'm the outlier. Maybe I'm a hater. I do kind of think I'm a hater. It's a very well-made movie. It's just not for me. It's got all the elements of like one of the, I don't want to say it's one of the greatest movies ever because I just didn't. It's a Batman movie, but with talking and some explosive scenes sometimes and some sex. But it's a Batman movie without the Batman in it. And you'd think that that'd be a good thing, but it just made some scenes a little silly. Like there's this really melodramatic scene, and I can't get into too much into it without spoiling anything, that Robert Downey Jr.'s character has towards the end of the film. And they play the music like as if Batman was like running after, like it's all very thrilling and exciting, the music all the time. And it's just people talking. And I get like it's because you don't need people to run and shoot at each other for something intense to be happening. It could just be a conversation. So I get it. It's just for me, I'm like, it's whatever. So is it poppin'? It's poppin'. But not for everybody because it wasn't for me. I'm glad I watched it, and I will definitely watch it again because there's shit that they talk about in it that goes over my head. And also, Chris Nolan has admitted this, and I've mentioned this a few times before. He actually he fucks around with the sound because he focuses more on what the audience will hear through music or through other sound effects. he doesn't care about the dialogue, which is fucking insane, especially with a movie like this and Tenet. But he's admitted this. But from what I heard, and I did understand most of it, it was good. It's just fast jargon. And I did like the way they did black and white scenes and the color scenes in order for them to mesh. I will be going over this movie and spoilers in a special episode featuring Bane coming out sometime this week. It's been a very busy weekend, so I apologize that you won't see it then. But is it popping for IMAX? I don't think it's worth IMAX if you're sitting around people like this, because there's not much IMAX shit to see. I will say you don't need like an atomic bomb to enjoy what you're watching on screen. It could just be the mountains. It could just be someone walking down the hall. Don't get me wrong. And this movie was glorious to look at. I can't lie. Just wasn't for me, but maybe you'll like it. It's one of my least favorite Nolan films, but it's a very interesting movie and it's very well made and you might love it. And I'm definitely the outlier because everyone and their mother loves it, including mine. Barbie, however, it's interesting because things got kind of flipped with my expectations of these films. So Barbie, Greta Gerwig has directed Lady Bird and Little Women. Do you see a connection between Lady Bird, Little Women, and Barbie? Yeah, they're all gals. And that makes sense because she is excellent. She's an excellent voice on the female movement of being noticed as fucking human beings for once. And I applaud her for that. And I've loved her acting. If you've never seen Frances Ha, check it out. I love Greta Gerwig. Lady Bird was okay. I liked Little Women a lot, but this movie I did thoroughly enjoy. I'll rip off the Band-Aid. I was hoping for it to not just be about a girl based on Barbie. It's very much more than that. I can't go into too much detail, but I can go into some detail. For instance, the set design is literally Barbie's playhouse. There are scenes where they drive around and it's like, and it's a car without wheels, but it's literally moving as if it were a toy car. There's a scene where an ambulance opens up, like Barbie's old ambulance. And I'm assuming that's what it was because I heard people go, oh, it's like the thing and shit. People are getting excited. And when any of the Barbies or any of the Kens drink any water or take a shower, there is no water. And the way they move are like the Barbie toys. Like, it's really, really cool. And it knocked it out of the park for the way that they tell this story and for the concept of what this Barbie movie is. Amy Schumer was originally going to do a Barbie movie back in the day, and people were in an uproar. And I think that would have been like an interesting Amy Schumer twist on Barbie. This, so much better. I had expectations for it. It surpassed them like tenfold. I was very, 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 my eyes were glued to the screen. Very colorful, too colorful that my eyes almost bled. But super fun. Ryan Gosling, give that man an Oscar. And I'm serious. I think he deserves an Oscar for this movie. On a scale from 1 to 10 on like wacky, he was never at a 4. He was never at an 8. He was never at a 9. He wasn't even at a 10. He was at a fucking 16 all the time. Super dope. Great job. Margot Robbie, excellent job. Margot Robbie had one scene in particular with a little girl at a school and she gets embarrassed and she's trying to smile, but she's also like having her earth shattered, and I can't go into too much detail, but it was just really good acting. Props to Margot Robbie. Props also to America Ferrera. If you don't know her, she's from Ugly Betty. Excellent actress, not in many things, but she was in this, and she was great in it, and I can't tell you why, but she has one monologue that's very woke, and we're going to get into that in a second. Very woke, but it is important, don't get me wrong. But she just crushes the monologue. She does a very, 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 very good job because you just got to watch it. Now, the end of the movie is where I had issues. This movie is Lego Movie meeting Matrix. Try not to look too much into that, but that's what it is. It had very, very heavy Lego Movie vibes. There's also a comedic actor in this as well, and I want to say his name, but he was awesome in it. He played a boss, and I'll just say that. This movie goes it's very different. It's meta. I'm just going to say it's meta. It's very meta with a lot of things. It does a very good job at that. The last 20 minutes were a little too much. Ken has a musical sequence in 3 parts. The first part, everyone loves it. Everyone's laughing. Second part, he's on a bed and he's singing a famous song. I don't even know what it is. But people go, ha ha, oh, this is so unnecessary, but okay, go ahead, Ryan. I can tell Greta Gerwig just gets a kick out of it. And then there's a third part, and the whole movie theater was like, I don't really want to watch this anymore. You could feel it. You could feel everyone going, this is too much. And it was too much. Like, it was funny and whatnot, but it was too much. And then after that, the movie got even more woke. But the thing is, it's heavy-handed in its message, and it's very appropriate for it to be heavy-handed. And I'm completely okay with that. You have my permission, females. It's very heavy-handed in a great way. But this movie's not for kids, but it should be for kids in a way. It's hard to explain. There's a line in it that makes it Barbie, wonderful, excellent, to dark. And that line is, do you guys ever think about dying? So that's the kind of movie you're going to watch. It's super, super dope. I love it all except for the last 20 minutes because it gets into more of the conversation of women being human beings, which obviously they deserve to be human beings. And obviously we need more movies like this, but it's so like, it slaps you in the face so much at the end that it's like tiring. It's very tiring. It was just a little too much at the end, but I dug it. I loved it. Oh, Alan. Alan's in it. God, I watched this with Mike Deere. Michael Cera's in the movie playing a character called Alan. I didn't know there was a toy called Alan, but he was okay. But maybe you'll love him because there's one person that really loved Alan. That was Mike Deere. He was funny. I like Mike Cera a lot. Poppin' or not, it's Poppin'. Which is better between Oppenheimer and Barbie? Oppenheimer or Barbie? Oppenheimer is a better film. It is like, pish posh, appropriate and important and all of that. But Barbie's kind of important too. More people are going to like Oppenheimer because it's based off of history. Barbie, more people are probably going to hate because people hate women. That's the truth. People just hate women. Someone at work is like, why do we have to have movies where they're pro-women? There should be movies that are pro-women, but when you're smacking us in the face with it for the last 20 minutes, then I see why those other people want to walk out of the movie. I don't want to walk out of the movie, but I am like, hey, chill out, Greta. Chill out. So Oppenheimer's the better movie. Whoops, that's they clone Tyrone. Oppenheimer's the better movie. Barbie is more fun, but a movie about an atomic bomb is not meant to be fun. So it's kind of hard to compare the two, to be honest. I think more people are going to like Oppenheimer because everyone and their mother loves it. But Barbie, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people. It surprised me, and I had some high expectations. Another movie that surprised me, they cloned Tyrone. This movie didn't surprise me of how good it was. It was fucking dope. Some scenes were a little, Some scenes were a little, what the hell, Tony? Were a little longer than others. This movie could have been shortened down a little bit, but it was fucking fantastic. John Boyega, man, honestly, he could win an Oscar for this. He played a character I've never seen before. Jamie Foxx was awesome in it. His character was very In Living Color vibes. That's one reason I really dug him. Teyonah Parris, excellent job. It's awesome to see her in a film before whatchamacallit comes out, The Marvels. So I'm really happy that we got to see her. If you like blaxploitation films, you'll love this movie. If you love conspiracy theories, think of this as it's like Undercover Brother, but more highbrow. And I loved it. I thought it was excellent. It definitely has questions of like what's society trying to get out of keeping people in their own neighborhoods, and what is it that we're eating? What is it that we're watching? What is it that we're enjoying? Shouldn't we be getting together to end what others are trying to make us instead of actually making something of ourselves. But we have to band together to do that. Great movie. It's on Netflix. Highly recommend. It is popping. But I will say there are some scenes that are really long, like too long, way too long. The director is Jewel Taylor. I think he wrote Creed 2. Yeah, he was a writer for Creed 2. Great job. He didn't direct anything else movie-wise, so this is a really good directorial debut. I highly recommend it. It's very funny, but it's real at a lot of parts. The cloning thing is a little too much, but you are watching a clone movie, so they should really go ham on it. But there's one clone of someone. Oh, and when you find out who Tyrone is, I literally clapped. I'm like, okay, nice. I like that. Anyways, check out They Cloned Tyrone. Justified City Primeval is Tuesdays at 10 p.m. on FXX, Hulu Wednesdays. I haven't watched it. I won't even look at reviews. I'm very excited for this. I think it's completely unnecessary. They should leave the original Justified alone. But this one's taking place in Detroit. Please make Detroit look good. And please, Timothy Olyphant still be dope. Please let the writing still be dope. Apparently, it still has the same writers as the original television series. So I'm in, of course. I am I'm trying to be cautious about my excitement, but I am very excited, mostly because I've been watching the whole series. I'll have a better review of that next week. We got to wrap this up soon. Minx, Fridays at 9 p.m. on Stars. The show was canceled. Now it's back. It is about the making of I think, fake Playgirl magazine, basically. Adult magazine for women. Jake Johnson's in it. Ophelia something is in it. But Jake Johnson's in it. So I think that should be enough for you guys. Special Ops Lioness, Sundays on Paramount Plus. I didn't have a chance to watch this. I forgot about it until literally just now. But it has Zoe Saldana, Nicole Kidman, Morgan Freeman. This is a television show. I don't think it's a miniseries either. It's probably going to end up being a miniseries, but check that out. Futurama, Mondays on Hulu. Super exciting. I watched today's episode and I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so awesome for it to be back. Mark Norman, Soup to Nuts, Netflix Tuesday, tomorrow. If you don't know Mark Norman, check out YouTube. He's all over my fucking algorithm. He's hilarious. I am very happy for him to have the success that he is receiving. The Murderer, Netflix Thursday. This is a foreign film that check out the trailer. I don't have anything else to say about it, except it's like a northeastern region of Thailand known as Isan. July 27th on Netflix. Check it out. It looks like a wild movie. Paradise. This is another foreign film. It's German. Basically, you can pay off your debt by using years off of your life that they can give to an older, rich, probably white person, so they will be younger. Interesting concept. I'm looking at the reviews online, and apparently it's not very good, but I think the concept is definitely worth watching, and there will probably be an American adaptation of this. Netflix Thursday, Paradise. Spotlight films of next week will be Haunted Mansion, which is in theaters Wednesday. It stars Tiffany Haddish, Lakeith Stanfield, Owen Wilson, Rosario Dawson, and Danny DeVito. I'm excited. It looks a little too corny, but I love the cast, and I liked more than what I didn't like when I watched the trailer. Talk to Me. I saw this. You can't see it till Wednesday. I saw a screening of it, and it was very good, very wild. One of the better horror movies that you'll see this year. Very excited to know what other people are going to think of it. I don't know how to describe it. It's supposed to be a scary movie. Just say that, and it's basically a metaphor for taking drugs as a young adult and trying to fuck around with drugs so much you're on death's door. And how much do you want to be on death's door? Check out the trailer. Or don't, because I took Mike to see this one too, and he had no idea what it was, and he ended up liking it a lot. But you're gonna get angry at the younger characters and like why they're doing this, but again, it's all metaphor, baby. I liked it a lot. It's an Australian film, so check it out. They're pretty good at horror. A lot of weird sex stuff though. Great date night movie. Take your date to see it. Even if you don't like it, you're gonna have a good time. I guarantee it. Hidden Strike. This is going to be dropping on Netflix Friday. This doesn't necessarily look good, but I'm very excited for it. It is a foreign film with Jackie Chan and John Cena. So I think it's a good pairing. Why not? Beanie Bubble, about the Beanie Baby bubble back in the day. Apple TV Plus Friday. This stars, it looks like Sarah Snook from Succession and Zach Galifianakis and Elizabeth Banks. The Witcher, the So Long Henry episodes are going to be released on Netflix Thursday. Also, if you want, you can message me or comment below. There's a way that you can watch the first episode tomorrow. You have to register at a website. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I think that's kind of a cool idea. Some other shows I won't be watching. This Fool, Hulu, Friday. It will be returning. It looks really funny, and I hear good things. I just haven't watched it yet, but maybe you'll watch it, and you'll get me to watch it. Twisted Metal. All right, so they made a TV series of Twisted Metal. It's going to be dropping on Peacock Thursday. I don't know if it's the whole season that they're going to be dropping or it's going to be weekly episodes, but this picture, it looks fucked up. It looks funny. Is Anthony Mackie enjoying filming this movie? Anyways, Harley Quinn is coming back on Max Thursday. I know people are tired of Joker and Harley Quinn, specifically me. But this show is hilarious. Check it out. Good Omens returns Friday on Amazon Prime. Check out the first season on Amazon Prime. If you like Neil Gaiman shit, you're going to like this. If you love David Tennant as much as I love David Tennant, you'll probably really like this. I enjoyed the first season. I'll watch the second, but I'm probably not going to be paying that much attention because I honestly didn't pay too much attention to the first season. But if you like God and Devil shit, you're going to like it. How To with John Wilson. This is an excellent show. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It is not fictional. The concept is this man records everything in New York City, and he captures the most interesting stuff, and he makes stories with what he captures. That's all I'll say. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's returning on Max Fridays at 11, and that is it. We went a little over on time. I'm sorry about that, guys, but I really appreciate you tuning in. If you are watching this on Instagram, please head over to YouTube. Let this play for at least 10 seconds. Hit that like and subscribe button, and also share the fuck out of this. We'll be doing the Oppenheimer episode sometime this week. It's not going to be just Oppenheimer. I'm probably going to talk about Oppenheimer for like 2 minutes, but we're going to be talking about Christopher Nolan movies and how they all, and his style and blah, blah, blah. Thank you for watching. Have a great